$50,000 a bed debt, you're gonna double your home? Oh, what are we doing? Oh, you're full Americanizing. You're full Americanizing.
I've watched David Ramsey for a while.
Is what you're doing working?
Not
Then
currently.
shut the up.
My husband works extremely hard.
Cool,
and he's
congratulations.
Never had
You guys are
anything
completely
nice.
Download my budgeting app today and take control of your money once and for all. And for a limited time only, sign up for the annual version of Premium and get my cookbook and notebook signed and mailed directly to you. Link in the description and pinned comment below.
I'm Nikki, 27, from Paris, Texas, and this is the Financial Audit.
The Financial Audit, she's here. What do you do for a living?
It's a long title. I'm a technical support relationship manager for a veterinary laboratory company.
Okay. Are you just customer support for a product to a vet clinic?
Not necessarily. I would say I'm more so relationship management for like software, multiple different lines of software.
What do you make?
Salary, I'm at $70,614
Not
a year.
bad. You say salary. Are there bonuses?
There is.
Okay, what do you make total?
So my bonus I get once a year, and it's about, I think it's 3% of my salary. So this last one was about $3,000, and then after taxes, it was about $1,700, $1,800.
Okay, so what hits your account on a monthly basis? Does that?
Oh, a monthly basis?
And then that salary or that bonus that just hits once a year?
Yes.
Okay, so what
I have a guaranteed raise and bonus once a year in March.
what's the raise percentage?
It's, oh gosh. I think my raise is 3%, the bonus is 5%.
Okay, so it's like cost of living raise. So, okay, that's fair. What hits your account on a monthly basis?
I get paid bi-weekly, and it's $19.55.11.
Wow, down to the cent. Okay. So it's $3,910.22 in a smaller town in Texas. Should be relatively affordable. Why are we struggling? What's going on? Why are you here? What are we talking about?
Years of repeated debt cycles.
What? Cycles. What? Tell me.
They've been paid off multiple times and then maxed out again, paid off, balances occurred. Yeah, it's a repeating cycle.
When's the last time you've done this?
I paid almost everything off right before we moved. I got a debt consolidation loan and paid off a lot of stuff that had high interest rates. And then the move acquired some more cost. So back in the same cycle.
Move. Where'd you move from?
The Bay Area, California.
Okay, I mean, it's kind of big. How much did it cost?
So
Like, you can do moves cheaply. People just refuse to.
So we actually did it all by family. It's been 4 trips now that's been done over the last year.
Well, what
So
do
the
you mean?
first trip
Your
was...
entire family's moving? Is that what you're
So
saying?
it was myself, my son, my husband, and my dad.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, kids and husband.
Yes.
How old's the kid?
3.
Okay. Does the husband make money?
Yes.
Am I looking at his finances today? Are you guys together?
We are
finances?
together. I believe some of his finances
Okay,
are
what's his
included.
take home?
He gets paid $19.25 an hour, gets paid weekly. His paychecks have been looking like $640 a week.
Okay, so we're talking extra $2,560 on a monthly basis. So why extra are we struggling? That doesn't really make sense. I understand the repeated cycle, but why are we not breaking it when we're making decent money in a small town? Well, and why is it taking 4 trips to move?
So
why aren't we just packing everything up and just going?
So
getting rid of most of the we have.
We have. So my husband and my dad are both like longtime mechanics. So they have a lot of like bigger equipment that has taken multiple trips. Forklifts, air compressors.
Does that have to do with his job?
Not right now,
Then I
currently.
personally don't give a like, put it in storage there or something. Put it on a, like, you know.
Well, that's the problem. Some of it is in storage.
That's a problem?
Yeah, because that's a monthly cost.
Yeah, but how much?
So it's not necessarily, my dad's paying it because it's his storage unit originally, but some of our stuff is in there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's about $300 a month.
Why do you need, he doesn't need all these extra toys though. Need. Sake of family. Kid, 5-year-old, right? 3. So we don't need, whatever.
So the goal is to start,
and stuff.
It's not an excavator, it's a forklift. And the goal is to have our own shop eventually where they can be
forklift
mechanics.
shop?
No, where they can work on vehicles and motorcycles.
Okay, well, that's fucking so expensive to get up and running.
We have everything though.
Except for a storefront and putting like 3 months down in commercial property, signing a 3-year lease at a minimum. Starting utilities, all that stuff.
Definitely more cost, more loans included. But my dad and my husband will not let that stuff go.
What the stuff?
The stuff for
Okay,
the shop.
Great. So
Yeah. But yeah,
they
4 trips.
won't prioritize their family. Okay, great.
Mhm.
That's wonderful. It's your dad's included, and your dad came out.
Yes.
What was this movie even for? Where did we come from?
So my dad was homeless living in California. And so.
Did you tell him to stop?
Stop being homeless?
No, I was just joking. I don't
Okay.
know.
It's like,
Why was he homeless?
my parents split. It was a very nasty split.
Why didn't he live with you guys?
So I actually moved into my childhood home that my mom owned. So I was renting from her, so my dad was not
for
allowed there.
fuck's sake.
Yeah. Hence the move across the country.
Why did the across the country help though?
Cost of living so much cheaper here. And
Yeah, but that also means incomes are as well.
well,
Okay.
so I got a raise living in California because they raised the minimum wage. So I'm getting paid California wages living in Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your remote situation is
Yeah.
pretty good, but
And we
your
moved
husband's
solely
gonna make
on my
less.
income.
Your husband's gonna make less here. Dad's gonna make less here. Anyone
My
that
dad
has to
can't
get a
work.
job here. Is he illegal? Is he
No,
broken?
he's on disability.
Broken. Okay.
Yeah. So if we were to open a shop, his whole thing would be like sitting at the counter, doing parts, inventory, things like that. My husband would
Then he
essentially be a
can
mechanic.
work.
In that aspect, he can't be. He
There's
can't
a
work.
lot of jobs that aren't just physical. I do this job and I sit on my ass all day.
Right.
So do you guys. I mean, what's the heaviest thing you've lifted, Jake? Earlier, a cup of coffee?
It's been hard to find something that allows his accommodations. He can really only work for like 2 hours at a time.
Okay. Well, I don't know his whole context of the
Yeah.
situation. I don't understand. So, okay. So you got an apartment here.
We own our house.
You bought a house here already. So that's included in this debt.
Yes.
Oh my! You have so many individual debts. This is insane. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
18, 17 before the mortgage. 18. Got a house. How quickly did you get a house?
So we were working with our real estate agent for about a year prior to buying this one. And we were moving solely on my income alone, not my husband's, because he didn't have a job established here yet.
When's the last time you did a consolidation?
I believe that was in 2023.
And how many have we done
That
in this cycle of just...
So that was the only one, but I'm considering doing another one.
It didn't work last time?
It did. Until the cycle.
You're in so much debt.
Yeah, until the cycle came
So
back.
it didn't work. What are you talking about?
It worked to pay everything off to get us moved.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything if we're back to where we were before, if not worse. It's like, no, it's a temporary happiness. Did you pay off your consolidation like that?
I paid it off early. I didn't pay it
How
off
early?
like that.
Then that's not your debt
A
just
few
being
months
gone.
early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's not your debt just gone. It was just debt moved. You do realize that,
Essentially,
right? Especially since you're considering this again?
I am considering it just because the APRs on the credit cards are so high.
They're
and the monthly
brutal, but
payments
again, look, it
are
doesn't
high.
fix your behavior. How'd you get here again? How'd you get here again? Self-diagnosed. Was it the move? No, not just the move, even though we're doing 4 moves for some reason. And we have $222,000 in bad debt. 80,000 of it is bad debt. One's a mortgage, and I doubt the rate's super low knowing today. So how'd we get here again?
Part of it was the move. My husband didn't have a job for the first 2 months that we were here. So I had to carry everything on my shoulders. And then
But you guys didn't have an emergency fund? We don't move without an emergency fund. We don't get a house without an emergency fund.
the emergency fund got emptied for the move.
That's not
On the vehicles that broke down
emergency, though.
during the move.
I'd rather put pops up in an apartment, month by month apartment, while we save up a fully funded emergency fund.
Well, one of the vehicles that we moved with, the transmission went out. So had to get that fixed.
one of the vehicles we moved with.
Yeah.
How many vehicles did we move with?
So
Because what if we just say, oh, okay, maybe that one's not worth it.
so we did sell them once we got here. We sold the Suburban to a friend with
Did you
the
make up
broken
the cost
transmission.
of the fix of the transmission?
So we agreed to do payments. However, we have not
We agreed to do to who?
to a friend. Yeah. Thinking it was trustworthy.
What do you
payments.
mean? They lent you money?
No, we sold the vehicle.
Oh, no, I'm saying
And
yeah, but
for
what did
them
you
to make
sell it
payments
for?
on
What
it.
number did you sell it for?
I believe it was $2,000.
How much did you put into the transmission repair?
So we spent about $1,000 trying to repair it. It still did not work. So we were like, we're not going
And
to
you
spend
haven't gotten any of the
money.
2,000? Any?
We got, I think, 300, 400.
Okay, over the course of what? So
Since
how'd you guys
November,
get
since
cars
October?
then? How did you guys?
So we sold all of our vehicles.
Yeah, so how have
and
you
then
been
bought
getting
new
around that?
ones.
So if we've been through this cycle so many times, why are we buying new cars? Were they in cash?
No.
Why were we buying new cars when?
Okay,
Hey,
used cars.
remember when we just had the conversation? I had to supplement the whole house because
I did.
husband, we didn't rely on his income. Well, we just got new cars, getting new cars, but we can only rely on one income and moved across the country because also one of the people we're with is homeless. We're getting new cars.
Used cars, not brand new, but we needed a car so he can go to work.
You had cars. You sold your cars. Costs.
He couldn't get to work with those. It didn't
Any
have
of the cars.
transmission.
Any of the cars.
No.
Not a singular one of his cars.
The only car that we
Cool.
had.
I want
when
to
we
see him
moved
driving
here.
that forklift on the side of the road then.
It's not a drivable forklift. It's a pushable forklift. It's manual.
Oh my gosh. Okay. How much were these cars?
So my car, my SUV, I think we paid $24,000 for it.
And the other?
He got a truck to help with the move with the last two moves.
If it's for a move, then rent a truck. What did we buy a truck to help with a move?
Well, we also have, my dad has a boat. So
His boat, sell his boat. I don't give a fuck. He's homeless. He can sell a
Right.
boat if he's homeless. I'm gonna lose sympathy if we have an asset that we can sell for thousands of dollars.
it's not worth thousands of dollars.
It's not worth at least thousands.
No,
It's worth 1,000. Then we're not
Maybe.
buying a truck to haul it.
it's a happy place for us. Growing up in the Bay
What,
Area,
a
I was
sinking
always on the
boat?
water. It's not going to sink.
Okay, they could probably get a couple thousand at least, right? What is it? A fucking what
It's
is
like
it?
I think it's like an 89 jet boat.
Buddy, I don't know, but we're getting a truck for it. I don't care. Again, put it on a dock here.
Well, my husband got the truck and that was $28,000.
Oh, for fuck's sake. The guy who didn't have a job that we're relying only on your income. By the way, 3-year-old.
He has a job.
Now, but you guys were relying just on your income.
We bought the truck after he had a job.
Okay, what did you say his hourly was?
$19.25.
Okay, and we're getting a $30,000 truck that he doesn't need? Yeah, for a move.
Well, and other things
Join
too.
a boat club here. You get better boats anyway, and it's probably cheaper.
There's boat clubs?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So you get access to a bunch of boats. I don't know. It's just
Might be something
easier.
to look into, but that sounds like another debt.
It's not a debt. It's a monthly payment, but it would have saved you from a $30,000 excuse.
Well, we also have trailers that we tow around and do side
Well,
jobs with.
stop.
That's extra income.
Extra income, how long until that extra income equals $30,000 plus the interest that accrued on the truck? Exactly. You're not doing the full math behind it. You're just justifying, if I can go make an extra $5, I can go spend $30,000. Like, no. Look where you are. Is what you're doing working? Is what you're doing working?
Not
Then shut the
currently.
fuck up, obviously. Like, that's how that works. Like, if that was a savvy business venture and everything you're doing is okay, you wouldn't be on this show.
My husband works extremely hard.
Cool.
And he's
Congratulations.
Never had
You guys are
anything
completely
nice.
cool. And you can get things that are nice when you are disciplined and you pay off the debt
And
that
that's
you
why
got
I'm
into.
here.
Oh,
It's a
Oh my God. Should we
discipline.
ban that phrase from here? Like, that's why you're here. What?
Because I have paid off things before. I've watched David Ramsey for a while. I know the snowball method. I've
What?
been working on that.
You've watched who?
David Ramsey.
David Ramsey?
Yeah. And that's how I got some of the debt paid off before.
David Ramsey. David, I hope you're watching this.
But I've watched like the snowball method and stuff like that, had things paid off before, and then life happens, debt cycles happen, and
No, life. You. He works hard. We went on something nice. That's what happened. Life happens. Excuses happened.
excuses do happen, but it's part
Excuses
of life.
happened. Yeah, and we can make excuses on some things, but I can have an excuse to go have
And
a
I
piece of
feel like
chocolate
they're-
out there, but it has little less consequences than you going $80,000 in bad debt. Or this is a different level. This is a different level. Excuses happen? What do you mean? Okay, excuses happen. Congratulations. Go.
They're justified
Goodbye.
excuses.
Goodbye.
I'm here to get this fixed.
No. It's not that. I'm not kicking you off. But what I'm saying is excuses happen. Cool. Keep that mindset. Like, we don't need to have a conversation. Keep that mindset. If that's the life you want to live, then
It's
live
not.
that life. Then why are you saying it? Because you just said it's justified. You guys are house shopping now?
We are.
What are you doing?
So
What world are you doing?
we bought our house.
David Ramsey would not agree.
So we bought our house and never saw it. We saw it an hour before we signed our closing papers.
So what's the current state?
Not good. We've done a lot of remodeling and a lot of repairs. That's where some of the debt came into place too.
I don't usually like to start with real estate because it's boring, but let me just get a quick thing on it.
Like the Home Depot cards, that's repairing the house.
Oh, repairing? Why? Well, how was it?
Bad.
Then why-
Like
But
I will
why
never
didn't you-
use that inspector again.
Unseen, I get it, but why didn't you? Well, I do multiple inspections. Why didn't you? This is such a huge purchase. Okay, we're cutting the address from the video, but what's the address? Okay, what was the purchase price of the house?
$144.
Okay, how much did you put down?
I think it was like 10,000.
Okay.
I think it was like 5,000 for the down payment, and then like another 5,000 in additional cost.
You know it's only worth $144,000 right now. Says Zillow, which usually overestimates houses.
I just got my appraisal papers came in, and they said
Appraisal through who?
through the county, Lamar County Appraisal District.
No, that's his taxes,
then-
right? Are you talking about your tax appraisal?
Maybe.
Nah.
And
That's going to be a different kind of appraisal than you're going to get when it comes
Well,
to
the lender
selling a
also
house.
did an appraisal.
Okay,
Like a virtual appraisal on it.
Okay, that also doesn't count. There's going to be an official appraisal that
Yeah.
happens. All right, like the buyer's likely going to request that.
Yes.
And the bank if they're taking out any kind of loan, so they will contract an official appraiser to do it. And it's not a virtual thing. It's not perfect, but whatever. What did you hear?
194.
I highly doubt that.
Well, so when we bought the house, everything was original from 1981.
The internal renovations of houses aren't doing as much these days anymore. It could help a little, but it's really the land. The land.
It's on a third of an acre.
Well, I know,
we've done a
but
lot of work
I'm
to the
seeing the
land.
values of it.
That's part of the Tractor Supply bill too.
Well, I hope so. I hope it's worth that. It sounds excited. Or you sound excitable about it, honestly.
Yes.
And here's the reality. We're in a buyer's market, not a seller's market. You do not have to say in this. Like, you can market there. That likely being overvalued is actually going to hurt you worse because you're going to get less people making offers, meaning you're going to be on the market longer, meaning psychologically people start seeing something wrong with the house when they see it being on the market for like more than 6 months, and all of a sudden no one's going to be even seeing your house because they're going to think something's wrong with it. This is what happens. This is what happens
My
when people...
real estate agent already has 3 people interested
Interest is nothing. Interested what?
in the house, like
In what way?
in buying it.
What? They've seen it. They've toured.
They've seen pictures from the outside, and then from what the real estate agent has told them.
You're getting
from
ahead of
the
yourself.
realtor.
You're getting ahead of yourself. It's that virtual appraisal. It says, trust me, as someone who's been in the buy-sell game many a times for houses, those little exciting things, I remember being excited about those as well when I did my first. And
this
then
is my
I
first
realized it means nothing. Once until you get an official appraisal, it doesn't even matter. You don't even know what they're gonna. They might be interested in it. They might be interested in buying it at 150. Okay, I might be interested in buying a house across the street. Maybe not at the price they want.
Well,
That's
I'm looking
different.
at comparable prices because there's multiple houses on my street for sale.
Yeah.
Like if you're on Zillow, I think there's one on like 240.
Don't say that. Don't say the
Sorry.
names. I see the 240.
And then there's another one down the street for
240 doesn't. That's not a comps. You know when they do comps on sold homes, not for sale homes.
So there was one that
for
just
sale
sold for
home is nothing.
220.
Okay,
But
tell me about
they
the house.
probably have a working HVAC. And
You don't have a working fucking HVAC.
no.
Okay, then
So that's one of the things
good
the
luck.
inspection didn't call out. They said that it's working. It's not great, but it's not
you didn't
working.
get a specific HVAC inspection done?
I didn't know.
Oh, people, go through our real estate class, y'all. Go through our real estate class.
I really wish
And
I'd
one of
done
the other
more.
ones that's worth 230 is like literally 40% larger than your house. So it's actually 50% larger than your house. So that doesn't, it doesn't fully equate to what we're looking at here. Now, it's Texas public record of terms of what the sale price is. We can't see. If you have access to the MLS, that's where you can see the official sales price. But, I don't know, I just think you're a little too ahead of yourself. I'm not... Oh my, you guys put in an offer on a home?
So it's a contingent offer.
Contingent on?
Once our house is in contract, then the seller accepts our offer.
Is there a time period?
So the seller of the house that we're looking at has to go back to Arizona.
Is there a time period between that where it
ASAP.
avoids that? No.
Oh.
Where it's like, if you don't sell your house by then, fuck you, we're going to
I
try to find
haven't
another
gotten a deadline
buyer.
on it.
Really? Have you signed the contract?
No.
Oh. Again, we're ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
This is just an endless, we're ahead of ourselves. Address to the new place.
3 bed, 3 bath, 3 acres. No.
Okay. Well, maybe I can't find it.
I'm like, I think
That
that's
might
the
not, is it
address.
listed for sale right now?
Yes.
Then I should be able to find it.
Yes, it's in there.
So this one?
F.
Okay, different street. This one's much cuter. I'll be honest. It's listed for $309. God, you can't even afford your fucking current living.
So
You're in $80,000 a bed now. You're gonna double your home? Oh, what are we doing? Oh, you're full Americanizing. You're full Americanizing. You're upgrading a home before you can even afford your own lifestyle. And going out to eat itself was nearly $700. It's like unknown shopping was $1,300. You guys couldn't afford to move your still. Okay, from the previous, and we're looking at doubling our house? No. Okay, what was his agreed purchase price?
309 even.
Okay, so it looks like Zillow's not wrong in this area. Okay, which means they're likely not wrong on yours.
And the only reason why we put in the offer at 309 is because of this contingent offer. Otherwise, we would have come in probably at 290,
How's an
300.
apocalypse bunker?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about student loans. I know it's something we all want to avoid talking about, but if your private student loans are crushing you, Y-Refi might be exactly what you need. They don't rely on your credit score alone. They look for borrowers who have the desire and ability to repay. That's a game changer in a market where most lenders only see a number. Interest rates under 6% guaranteed. That's practically a unicorn in student lending. Plus, they offer structured payment plans to lower your monthly bill and even a cosigner release program so your mom or dad can step off the hook. Y-Refi is known for personal service, no faceless call centers. You get a dedicated rep who actually cares about your progress. They've got a 4.6 star rating on Google, which tells you people genuinely like working with them. So if your private loans are burying you, it's time to reach out. Y-Refi wants to help you climb out of debt, not push you further in it. Check them out at YRefi.com/hammer. That is YREFY.com/hammer, or call 888-YRefi-78. That is 888-YRefi-78. Break free from the high interest trap and get your finances under control once and for all.
All right. Rural. Interesting life. Okay.
And we've considered using the USDA loan, but the lender wants to do an FHA contingent offer to another FHA.
Well,
So we're on an FHA loan right now,
yeah.
and they want us to put in a contingent offer using another FHA loan, and then using the equity from the sale of our house as the down payment for that house. And then I talked with another lender just to kind of compare things, and they talked about a conforming loan. And when I reached out to my real estate agent to learn a little bit more about it, she said it was an FHA loan, but the credit union I was talking to with that one said that it wasn't FHA and that it was like a Fannie Mae loan. So I got really confused about all of that and just...
well, yeah. I mean, it's one of the government holders.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a big... My thing is, are you going to have two... Why not get qualified for a second FHA while you hold the first FHA is the issue.
So we are pre-qualified right now.
Again, this is you getting ahead of everything.
Or
Pre-qualification.
pre-approved or something like that.
That means almost nothing. The underwriting process is what exposes everything. You can get pre-approved for mortgages like this. It is so easy. Lindsay could literally do it before the end of this next sentence. Like, it is so easy to get pre-approved for a mortgage. It's nothing.
Like, I submitted all of our pay stubs, everything, credit reports or credit scores and all that. They ran a full credit report.
Yeah. Well, yes. Again, that's the basic stuff. Everything you're talking about is like the before the real thing happens. Okay. I don't know. You might be able to get into it as long as they at least know you're getting your last one, but typically lenders verify that the first FHA loan has been paid off completely before allowing you to get another one. I don't know, man. I think you're a little ahead of yourself here. And why do you think you're able to double your living costs?
Our goal was to use some of the equity from the house to pay off some of the debt.
So some of the equity that we might not have. Your contingency offer, does the contingency rely on you making money on the last house or just selling the last house? Because you might not actually make equity, especially after you lose 6% on seller buyer commission. And then you also get any capital gains, by the way, if you do make profits. You haven't lived there for 2 years. Yeah, capital gains, get ready. It's nom, 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 nom. It's going to get you. Did you know that? Were you expecting capital gains?
No.
Oh, that's a big chunk. You haven't been there for 2 years, right?
No, I've only been there a year.
So there's that. And then you're going to have closing fees and a bunch of different. So honestly, you're probably going to have to sell. You put 5 down on it. Okay. It was what? 250? What was it?
For my house now?
What was it? Yeah.
144.
144?
Mm-hmm.
144? Probably gonna have to sell it at 175 to break even.
I feel like that's doable. The only thing
Yeah,
is
but that's break even. There's no equity that you're throwing into something else. So how are you putting money down on this next one?
it was going to be from the equity of the sale of this house.
So you're relying on that.
Because this is
have
what the
an
lender
appraisal?
and I have talked about.
So
this
but that
is-
you talked about before you've
Yeah.
even entered underwriting. This
Yeah.
means nothing. This means nothing. You are so pre on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pre. No, actually, before you even go do this, go through our real estate course. That's the most recent one we've done. You get it for free. You need to learn a lot about this right now. And I'm a little scared that you're getting way too ahead of yourself. And even if you get into this other one and you get the FHA loan, which allows you a little less down, that is still a higher minimum payment. Like,
Yeah,
how the fuck are
that's
you,
what I was worried about.
Worried about? No fucking It's
Yeah.
double the house.
Yeah.
How do you think you can possibly afford that if you have $80,000 of bad debt and you can't even afford to live? You spent more than you made last month. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Well, you did. Congratulations, because that's debt, lady. That's the household. By the way, the household of the 3-year-old. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you think you can live that life?
My dad
Preferably
has
20.
also offered to help with rent because now he doesn't. He helps with like childcare. Like he'll help out watch my son if I have a really important meeting I have to do, or he'll pitch in on some groceries or something like that. But I don't ask him for anything because he's on a very set disability amount. And
Okay. Well, there's okay.
And so he just kind of pitches in where he can. But he agreed that if we do move to another house, he would like to pitch in.
I see you've set at $7,500 to replace the HVAC and furnace.
Yeah.
That is better than double the house.
Yeah.
That is better than double the house. I'd rather you have a $7,500 potentially interest-free loan than a house where you're only putting a couple of % down, could go under value, and a minimum payment that we can't afford, which puts us underwater in a situation you might not be able to sell, because who knows what's going on with interest rates. We're in a weird hold period.
Yeah. Because
I
right
don't
now
know, man.
we've had all kinds of crazy quotes all over the place with interest rates.
This makes no sense. I have notes that you track what bills are due each week. You have a
Yeah.
debt tracker on your phone.
I do.
Well, it's in your notes app. And you update it once a month. You're in charge of all the finances in the household, and you're very frugal. Then
Yeah.
you have all this bullshit spending, all these, like, you guys are spending more than you make. You didn't even know that. We have horrible debt, and you're thinking about getting a house you can't afford. This doesn't make sense. Those things are so conflicting.
Yeah.
Make that make sense for me, please.
I can't even make sense of it.
How aware is the husband of the finances of the house? How involved is he in the conversation? Because it sounds like you
I try to sit down with him at least once a month and be like, hey, these are our bills. Let's go over everything. Let's figure this out.
What
But
does try mean?
he pretty much just leaves everything up to me.
Is he informed at least?
Oh, yeah. I update him all the time. Like, hey, the water bill's $114. I just paid that with your check. Or whatever the case may be. Like, I tell him about every time I'm paying a bill.
All right. Where do you think your household financial score is? 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where do you think you stand?
Probably a 1.
If you want your Hammer financial score, see where you are in the world of finances. I'd be happy to assess you. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com. Go to calebhammer.com/apply to come be here on the show. And don't forget, if you download my budgeting app in order to not be a guest on this show, it'll help you a lot. And those who sign up for the annual version, you get my budget-friendly cookbook signed by me and sent directly to your doorstep. What is home inspiration? What is this card?
Ashley Furniture.
So not only could we barely afford to get the house, we only put a few % down, and now we can barely even afford getting a new house. We went on, we got to... Listen, I'm going to be very clear. You want to know how you look at life? You want to know how you look at life? So I'm going to let you in on a little secret and a perspective you probably haven't thought about. You put more value into feeling comfortable and seeing things that you like. Because this that you finance for Ashley Home Furniture, guess what? It's the cost of the new HVAC and heater. But you chose furniture.
Beds.
Kitchen
Table. Yeah.
You did not need. I slept on an air mattress for 9 months when I moved down here.
Me and my son and
Wasn't
my
the
husband
best.
slept on a queen-size air mattress for months.
There you go. This heating in Texas, or AC in the heat of Texas,
Yeah.
we don't fuck with that, especially when someone could die from it. Your dad.
Well, when we first moved in, it was kind of cooler outside. So the HVAC system was running at like it would put out like 72, 70. And then once it started getting hotter, we realized it was not working. Basically, it was circulating air. It wasn't actually cooling.
When does the interest-free period end in this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you're the one that's tracking the finances of the
Yeah,
household. You're the one that tracks all the bills. How do you not know?
I don't think there is a period where it ends.
This is a fun one. I get to get you free money, and then I get to get myself free money. It's a pure win-win for both of us. What do you have to do? Sign up for a SoFi High Yield Savings account and get a welcome bonus of $300. Sign up for Acorns using my link and get $20 instead of the usual $5. Finally, sign up for Silo and earn up to $5,000 in cash back on your own stocks. These offers have been negotiated to give us both more money than using traditional sign-up methods. So use the links in the resources section of the description below and get yourself $5,320 right now.
I've read over every statement, every contract that I had from getting the furniture. And there's no like, oh, at this point, the interest rate's going to jump up to this. Like other ones say that. Where like you get this 0% interest rate for 6 months if paid in full or whatever
Why
the
haven't
case may
you
be.
called to ask?
I have, and I've called Ashley and they're like, you need to call Home Inspiration.
Well, yeah, it's not through
Yeah.
Ashley.
So then I've called Home Inspiration and can't get a direct answer from anybody. They keep transferring me. And so that had me a little
skeptical.
suspicious. And then there's also 3 different login websites to pay my bill that are all different links. So it had me very suspicious and cautious. And so that was another reason why I was considering taking out the debt consolidation loan so I can get rid of that and any...
Well, it's not the consultation loan, dude. Listen, it takes 6 years to pay off minimum payments only, and we know that these period, most of it was 60 months, which is 5 years. So defer... Do you know if interest is deferring? I mean, usually on these type of cards, they do. Listen, you're right. This statement is quite bare. It doesn't show a lot. But the fact is, 6 years to pay it off, but it's 5 years, 5 equal payments from when it even started. And this was like a half a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you will not pay this off in time before the interest just hits.
Like, I definitely, like,
How many times have you called them? Be real.
probably like 6. Because we went in there, bought our beds, and then bought a couch that was on sale. And then I called in after that and was like, hey, like, how long of a period do I have on this? Or like, you need to call Home Inspiration. So I called Home Inspiration. They're like, oh, we have to transfer you over to this department. Get transferred to that department.
Okay.
You have to get transferred over to this department.
Oh, I gotcha. Maybe we'll try in a little bit. Care credit.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I despise care credit. Dog bills, dental bills, medical bills. When we first moved here, my son got bit by something and we had to go to the urgent care and then to the emergency room. And that was...
You not have dog insurance?
I do.
What's your insurance for the kid?
It's through my work. It's Aetna.
Mm-hmm. That is not bad.
But
Typically?
to go to urgent care, it was
Yeah.
like $180 for like a 15-minute visit to be seen the first time.
Sure.
And then the next day they said, oh, you can have like a free follow-up within a certain time. I go in there. They're like, no, you're getting charged because this is a
100
sick
again?
appointment. Another $180.
This is at $3,000 practically.
Well, no. And then they're like, you need to go to the emergency room. So then the emergency room bill was $2,000.
That's interesting.
And then I paid some of that on my health savings account card from work.
Was it in network, that emergency room? Because that...
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, we just had different insurance via Aetna, I guess. That was not... I mean, my copay at
I didn't realize I have a
emergency room
high
was lot higher.
deductible one. My deductible for it's like $4,000.
You didn't know?
I didn't. So
You don't sign up for the plan you want to?
So when I was filling everything out, I was talking with my colleague about it and was like, I've never had, like, in California, we were under the poverty level. So we were on Medi-Cal, state insurance. I've never had to
You
pay
were
for
under
anything.
the poverty level making $75,000 a year?
That was before my raise. And my husband his job there was just inconsistent. Sometimes he would get 5 hours a week. Sometimes he'd get 40.
What have you guys been doing in life? Like, we're
Floundering. That's the easiest way I could say.
And you don't seem like a person that hasn't had opportunity. Like, did you go to college? Are there student loans in here?
My student loans were covered by FAFSA.
So you went to college?
I went to trade school. I have an associate's degree in
Why are you
veterinary
below
technology.
the poverty line? What about the dude?
He didn't graduate high school.
Okay.
So
Is he getting a GED?
we ended up
He's gonna run a business, but
No,
he can't run his life?
he has a high school diploma now.
Okay.
But
no, it's
at
not
that time
about
he
the
didn't.
diploma for running his business. I don't care about that. It's the fact that just like, look where we are. And now he's going to have to manage a business financial, which is much more complicated.
Well, so they're like, the financial part's going to be on you. And I was like, I really
You?
don't want to do this.
Not only that, but you probably don't have time.
No.
Because that's kind
I'm
of
a
like a
stay-at-home
full-time
mom,
job.
and I salary, so sometimes I work 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night.
Okay,
Sometimes
do we have pet insurance? Because these
do.
are pet bills.
I just stopped it because they tried to raise the premium for 2 dogs to $270 a month. And then they're like, well, we can raise your deductible and I'll make your monthly payments
Well,
lower.
you go and get a different pet insurance, right?
So they have chronic allergies. So it's considered like if they already have it predisposed or whatever. So other insurances won't cover that. But with my history being in veterinary medicine, I've got their allergies pretty under control now and can manage it pretty easy. And when they do have a flare up, it's about $200 or $300 to get that taken care of.
So this is at $2,679.02 with the $92 minimum monthly payment. You made the minimum last time. $64.76 of interest. How long does this take to pay off? Minimum monthly payments only, without anything else being put on it.
Takes forever.
How long?
Like years, like 3 years.
Okay, add a 1 in front of that 3.
Oh, that's
You're there.
disgusting.
Yeah.
But
I'm still...
I don't know what to do without the care credit. Like, I want to have that as like a safe
Well, an
fallback.
emergency fund, and we get an emergency fund by not spending $500 a month going out to eat or whatever it was, plus more on... We don't get an emergency fund by getting a house that is double the cost. We don't get an emergency fund by holding on to equipment in storage lots back in California. We don't get an emergency fund by continuing to go into more debt and spending more than we make on a monthly basis. But you need an emergency fund. That gets rid of care credit. Because then you just use an emergency fund for emergencies. But we don't do anything necessary to get the emergency fund.
Not currently. I've had an emergency fund and then
Doesn't matter
drained
if
it
it's
for
not here
emergencies.
today. I don't give a what you've had in the past. I really don't. I care about what's today. I was a delinquent back in the day.
So
I'm
what
not
do
a
you do when
delinquent
you have an
today.
emergency and your emergency fund's already empty? Care credit.
Yes, but I'm talking about how to get to an emergency. You're not living the life that is necessary to get an emergency fund. You're about to get a house that is double. You're almost about to sign a contract to get a house that is double with contingency, which let's see if they even agree to that. What's an emergency fund to you?
I would like to have like 3 to 6 months of like regular bills safe.
Okay, so David Ramsey did say something similar. I would do 6 months preferably, but why haven't we prioritized that? Because that's what saves us.
So I had
Remember how
one.
important that 3-year-old is to you? Yeah, they need an emergency fund.
Yeah. I had one and then emergencies happened and I emptied it.
I know, but you haven't done what is necessary to build it back up. When you do not have an emergency fund, that within itself is an emergency, and we cut everything to build it back up.
I have money getting pulled out from my check right now. I have $200 getting pulled out and putting into a
$200 is
separate.
going to take forever. That's
know.
there's so many emergencies going to happen before that.
I need to pay off
$200
debt.
savings. Good job. Thrilled. $650 going out to eat.
When I'm working
So a
8 in the
third.
morning to 8 at
A
night, I
third,
have
it's
to-
okay?
We have to
What's
eat.
how much time is Daddy working? Papa, not yours. The one you're married to.
My husband?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dad of the child.
Yeah. So he was working overtime 10 hours a day, hour drive there, hour
Tell
drive
me
home.
what he's doing now.
He's working 8 hours a day, hour drive to work, hour drive back.
Cool, he can cook.
He's learning.
Oh, is he going to be a bit tired? Is your little guy going to be a bit tired?
He just learned how to fry an
spaghetti,
egg.
dude. When I was growing up and we didn't have money and foreclosure notices were hitting, we had spaghetti and meatballs every other meal. You don't have to know how to cook to put pasta in boiling water for 10 minutes.
We do spaghetti. We have
Well, there you go. Mission success. You figured it out. Sandwiches don't need skills. They are 2 pieces of bread.
we do PB&J dinners quite often.
Or it doesn't even,
Top
it can
ramen
be a little
dinners.
better than that. You have, for what it's worth, the money to have reasonable groceries for reasonable meals. I'm not against that. But it's like, your entire thing is like, I need to have credit credit. I wouldn't know how to live without credit credit. Okay, I do. It's an emergency fund. But I'd rather put literally 3 times, more than 3 times the amount we're putting towards savings on a monthly basis towards just going out to eat. Because we work long hours. You know why you work long hours? Because when you don't have an emergency fund, you have to use credit, meaning your monthly payments on life is higher, meaning you need to work longer hours.
I get paid the same no matter what. I'm salary. I'm not paid hourly.
You're at home though, right?
Yeah.
You can put fucking the pasta in, dude. It's 10 minutes.
I've done that and burnt the stove.
Well, sit at the fucking kitchen counter on your calls.
So I have 3 monitors.
Okay, use one during the pasta cooking.
Well,
We've all worked those jobs before. I've worked sales.
trying to
I
toggle
get it.
between the different windows and do presentations where I'm sharing my screen from a laptop
This is a
on
little
cooking dinner.
tech savviness. Come on, this isn't brutal. Come on, that's going to be a dumb excuse. That's going to be a dumb excuse.
It's a realistic excuse, though. When you're trying to have a meeting and you're presenting screens
Yes, we've all done this,
and
though.
trying to cook,
We've
my
all
work would not like that.
Okay. I guarantee you have 10 minutes in the day. Guaranteed you have 10 minutes. When you're like chilling with a 3-year-old, you said you're equally stay-at-home mom?
Try to be.
Well, there you go. You can do pasta during that time. You can do BLTs during that time.
Mm-hmm. And when I do cook dinner, that's what happens.
Crock pot.
I do
Let
a
it
lot of
sit.
crock pot.
Okay, well, you do a lot of going out to eat.
I do.
$650. So more crock pot. When your entire thing is I work long hours so I don't cook,
do.
so we do $650 going out to eat. No. You get an emergency fund. You don't have an emergency fund. HVAC died. Uh-oh. Need an emergency fund. Don't have it. What do we do? Kid got bit. Don't have an emergency fund. What do we do?
I pay some of that on the health savings account.
Well, that part's good, but obviously it's not enough because you're using care credit. You need an emergency fund. It's not about this health savings account. I'm glad you're doing that. Tax advantage, yeah, that's great. But obviously it's not going far enough. And obviously you no longer have the room in your budget to throw more into the health savings account. Okay, let's swap with this Capital One Kohl's card. We really need a Kohl's card?
So the Kohl's card was, I believe, one of the first credit cards I got as an 18-year-old trying to establish credit. Everyone's like, hey, you need to build your credit, get a credit card.
Sure, but this was 9 years ago, and I see a balance of $2,461.17.
That's one of those ones where I've had it paid off multiple times. And then Kohl's.
So what is going to change this time? You're considering a consolidation? What is actually going to be different? Please, pitch it to me. Pitch your
I
consolidation.
want to close the cards. I'm worried about my credit history.
You will open them up again, though. You will open up another card. A credit card will show up in the mail. You'll open it up. Look at your history.
I don't do the credit cards that come in the mail.
Fine, you'll
I
open a
refuse that.
store card. Listen, the thing is, based on your history, I just have no confidence you wouldn't open a card. I do want you to close the cards. I'm not against that. It's more about the spending the behavior. It's not just the act of closing the cards. Because then you'll just blow everything in your checking account.
So my habit with the cards is I've had a card close on me for not using it. So then I was like, oh, I have to use the card to keep my credit established so it doesn't close and tank my credit history and tank my credit
What
number.
even is your credit? Because, I mean, you're applying for a mortgage. You haven't gone through.
It's not great. It's 659.
Yeah, so not even favorable rates and an unfavorable rate market is coming your way.
Mm-hmm.
Do not get this house. I understand what you're thinking, but you move laterally maybe, but okay, go on. Please pitch me on this.
So then the Kohl's credit card, they did a thing where you can use it anywhere.
The Kohl's.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a Capital One card, honestly.
So that paid for gas and food.
It's
while
at the credit
moving.
limit right now.
Yeah.
What the Why?
That was one of those cars that we used to move.
How much did it cost this move?
About $4,000.
So primarily I'm here then?
In gas and food. That doesn't include the things breaking.
The total cost of moving.
I'd probably put us closer to $6,000. so far.
But that means you said you drained your emergency fund for that. If you drained your emergency fund for $6,500, you didn't have a fully funded emergency fund.
Not at that point.
So then we're not moving.
We needed to get out of California.
You did not, but you could have put him up in a month-to-month place.
We couldn't even afford our rent.
How much is your rent?
$1,500.
Yes, you could have.
My husband, his job, again, sometimes he's working 5 hours, sometimes he was working 40, 60. Like, it was all over the place.
That's not a flee the state situation. That's a job searching situation.
Well, and we also couldn't stay in the house that we were at.
But you made the same money you made now. Why?
My mom was moving back into the home, and
she wouldn't let you live there for a few months. To build up I'm not saying stay there. I'm saying get a fully funded emergency fund first.
Yeah. Well, we stayed there a year over what we were supposed to.
Cool. But we have an open and honest conversation. Hey, we need 6 more months just to get to that savings for the... Does she love you?
No.
Solopreneurs, listen up. You're wearing all the hats. Sales, customer service, marketing, maybe even shipping. And that is brutal. You want to automate all of your business headaches into one software? That's where High Level can help. High Level allows you to capture leads, build funnels, message potential customers, and close on your leads all from one dashboard. No more logging into multiple tools or missing leads because you forgot a step. You can literally be out grocery shopping while High Level nurtures your prospects. Let's talk money.
How much money?
If you're paying $50 for email, $40 for texting, $20 for booking, you're already at $110, and that's not counting funnel software. High Level can replace it all, possibly saving you some serious cash. I twisted their arm for an exclusive 30-day free trial, twice the standard. If you crave more time, less overhead, and better follow-up, check out the link below, because letting leads slip through the cracks is basically giving away free cash, and we do not do that around here.
We actually went no contact.
What the f? Oh, because you're supporting Dad?
No, well, part of it.
Why is she?
So we're talking now. It's not a very healthy relationship. It's never really been healthy.
Why did she let you stay there then?
To
It'd be a
control
weird
me.
thing, huh?
To control me.
Well, what was she able to do to control you?
She used the house to control me.
What did she do to
I'm coming to
control
my
you?
house to see my grandson. We're sick right now.
Were
we
you
don't
keeping her away from your grandkids?
We were sick. We had COVID. I didn't want anybody coming over. I didn't want anybody exposed.
Well, that's, I guess, her choice if she wants to get
right.
sick.
And then her
Weird, but
choice and boyfriend is, we don't like him.
Why?
He showed up to a family dinner that he was not invited to or supposed to be there. He's cheated on her. The person
he
that,
just showed up to a dinner? I don't think that's a cancelable offense.
with a gun.
Legal?
No.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And then he's also cheated on her multiple times.
That's not good. Okay,
and
so
the
want
lady
to
that
leave.
he's cheated on her with messaged me telling me I'm
But
a
why are
slut.
you cutting off the grandma, though? Your mom.
She allows it. She keeps going back.
Oh, yeah, but what if she's being manipulated in the same way that you're saying you're being manipulated by her?
Which she probably is. And we were just enabling each other. And
Yeah,
I
well,
finally
no,
had to put my foot
but
down and was like, I can't do this.
Cutting contact isn't...
Well, and she also had really bad alcoholism.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah. And it got to a point where she was screaming at me in front of my son, and I was like, we can't do this.
I agree. Well, it sounds like the move was okay, but still, you did not have a fully funded emergency fund. You really suggested like you did, and it was drained before you moved.
We were just trying to basically flee.
But you didn't have a fully funded emergency fund.
Not fully funded.
No.
It was
barely.
started.
Yeah. Okay, so again, on this card, $2,461.17, monthly payment $89, 63 cents or $63.96 of interest accruing, maxed out, 13 years to pay off, monthly payments only, which is all you're doing. Actually, you made a little under your minimum last time.
I think my minimum just went up on that one.
It's at a 30.24% interest rate.
And then I was trying to do the David Ramsey method, the snowball, pay off the lowest one first. So I was throwing any extra, like instead of making a monthly payment on a balance that's $240, or not a minimum payment that. If it's $30, I'm paying $60 or $100, trying to get those lower cards paid off first.
Do you like his co-host, like Georgie Camel as well? Georgeson Camel?
I've only really paid attention to David Ramsey.
Okay.
I had a friend turn me on to him and was like, hey, like, you need to start watching him. Because I was venting to him one day. He was in a lot of debt, paid everything off, was debt-free, emergency fund. Like, he's doing everything he's supposed to. So I turned to him and was like, what do you do? And so he was like, hey, watch David Ramsey.
Do you also watch Grammath and Stefan?
I don't.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
I don't even know who that is.
It's okay.
Okay. And then I found you on TikTok and started watching all your videos. And I was like, I need to conquer this debt. My goal is to be debt free. I want to be able
It's a good goal. I should do something to do it. I still have your spending for last month. This is what everyone does. You're saying a reasonable thing, but then your actions are completely the opposite. Lowe's card. And I understand the escape in California. I'm not against that.
Yeah. And the Lowe's card is my husband's.
$145.57 with a minimum monthly payment of $72. Well, your husband did not purchase, but interest was accruing. $49. Takes 11 years to pay off. It's maxed out. No one's surprised.
Yeah.
So what's going on with this one?
So that one we got prior to moving. The house that we're living in California was actually falling apart around us. Like literally.
Okay, seems to be a ongoing pattern.
Yeah. Like roof was falling apart. The porch poles falling apart. Walls falling apart. Like just everything was falling apart. The kitchen had massive amounts of mold in it, and it actually caught on fire before my mom and my dad bought it. So ended up having to fix stuff in the kitchen. And then after having my son, we had the original carpets in it from when we moved in 2004. And we've had multiple pets. So we put in the LVP flooring, or like that plank vinyl flooring. We found some on sale at Lowe's.
But 11 years to pay off those renovations. It wasn't even your house. I don't
Like to renovate.
That's what we prefer. That's what we prefer, huh? Sake.
Change is good, right?
Yeah, what about the change in not having debt? That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Dave would suggest so. He would also suggest that you should get the Fizz card instead of any of these cards. I would do that for you. Only allows you to spend on senior checking account, which is good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is sitting at a 31.99% interest rate. Well, some of them. So a part of it. And then 26.99 for the rest.
Yeah. The interest
Home
rates.
Depot.
That's
For
our
more
house now.
renovations we want to do, because change is important. Change is good, right?
Change is good. Fixing the house is good.
Fixing the house for necessary things that are danger in life, I can kind of vibe with. But again, those are emergencies, emergency funds to take care of it. You don't do what is necessary in life in order to achieve an emergency fund. So you're allowing yourself to say that this debt is okay because you had to do it, where in reality it's not, because if you were just a mature person in the end, you would have had an emergency fund. What'd you study in college again?
Veterinary
trade school.
technology.
That's right. Okay. 3,000. This one's over the credit limit. This one's over the credit limit.
That's my husband's.
3,000.
I also have a Home Depot card. We each have one.
What the why? What's our obsession with the depot?
We only have a Home Depot in our town.
You have a Lowe's card too.
Lowe's is an hour away.
Yeah, but you have a Lowe's card too.
Mm-hmm.
What's our obsession with the Depot? I like Home Depot. I don't have a Home Depot card. What are we doing? You're over the credit card limit by $218.62. $3,000, $218.62 with a minimum monthly payment of $103. These minimum monthly payments are stacking up, and then you want to double your mortgage? Good luck.
That's where the debt consolidation loan kind of came in.
Yeah, but there's still going to be more minimum monthly payments, and then knowing you, just like you've done in the history of your cycle for the last 9 years, you're going to do it again. That doesn't fix it.
I'm ready to break the cycle.
You're ready to break the cycle, but a consolidation without changing your behavior first does not break the cycle.
I'm ready to change the behavior.
You're ready to change your behavior, but you have not yet, and you should not consolidate until you do. So I don't know what we're thinking about doing here, especially since this is going to 15 years to pay off. And like, the consolidation loans are high interest rate anyway. And are you going to be able to borrow enough to consolidate all of this?
Probably not all of it. The ones that have lower balances, we wouldn't include.
I feel like, honestly, you're just really trying to make a reason for this new house to work.
Even without the new house, I want the cards gone.
There. Huh?
I want the cards gone. I don't
Then why are
want.
you spending the way you do? Again, the words are not lining up
They're
with the
there.
actions.
The cards are there.
Yeah, but the words are not lining up with the actions. We can start paying down cards. Instead of, you haven't paid more than the minimum payment on any of these cards
You
so far.
haven't got to those ones yet.
I said on any of the cards so far.
I know there's a big stack there. Keep looking.
You spent $650 on going out to eat. That is not cute. That could have gone towards this card. That could have paid off a fifth of the care credit. A fifth of the care credit could have gone away if you did not go out to eat, but you did. So that is not cute. That is not cute by any means.
And part of that eating out was us going to Tennessee. We did spend, I think, like $200 eating out in Tennessee.
Fuck you. I don't care. Don't go to Tennessee. What are you talking about? You're
My
literally...
husband's grandpa was dying. So we went to Tennessee and we ate out because we were in a hotel. We got some snacks and stuff.
I understand
to get us
going
by,
to Tennessee. I'm not horribly against this with that situation specifically, but I am very against. I mean, you did not need to do the eating out thing. When my family and we did like that low cost of living travel. We grocery shopped when we took road trip slices. That's what we had to do.
I tried to find a hotel that had a kitchenette in it so I could
Buddy,
cook.
we're just making fridges and sandwiches. That's what we did. That's what we did. I know other people can do it because I went through it. Okay? Yes, go to Tennessee. Grandpa passing away. I hate that. That is so sad. I want you guys to go there. That does not mean we use it as a reason to not continue our sacrifice all around. I'm not against the travel, and I know
we
like I
also
sounded
ate out
like
with
I'm a hard
family.
ass, but
We also ate out with family.
okay, but that is different. It wasn't just the eating out with family. Maybe I would have allowed a couple eating out with the family, and we're all together and we're celebrating someone's life. Okay, I get that part.
He is doing better now, though. The grandpa.
Great, so it was worth nothing. So the me trying to f off.
He was not doing well. He's got cancer. It comes and goes. We really, I'm glad we went. Because I don't know when we're going
Yes,
to be able to
me
get back out there.
too. I'm not against that. I'm against the way you did it. You're not willing to sacrifice.
And that's what I'm trying to change now.
I will never understand this. And, I might get some pushback in the audience from it. I don't get it because that seems like a reasonable response, guys, right? But I've been on this show. I've done this quite a few times. And my question is, then why the is it not in the statements that I'm looking at? If you would want to change something, I would see any indication of it. This is what happens. I swear people get on here. We've been filming for an hour and 1 minute. They're getting pushback on their decisions. And the most natural human response to say is, well, now I want to change. Then why wasn't there a single 1 cent of change before you sat in this damn chair?
That's the cycle. I've changed. I've had therapy. I've done all that. Dropped out of therapy.
Dropped out of therapy.
Yeah, or whatever. Moved. Lost a therapist. Whatever the case may be. And then
most you can do remote while you're out and about, but go for it.
Well, I'm starting therapy again. Hence the whole.
Oh, come on. You complete your entire life collapsed because you weren't in therapy for a second? Come on. If you're that broken,
I'm not
then
blaming it all on my mental health and not having a therapist.
what are we blaming it on? Because it sounds like a lot of blame outside of our own just accepting responsibility and saying that, you know what,
There is
maybe
life
I'm not
act-
ready to change because I haven't done anything necessary to actually make ready for change before coming on.
You haven't got to all of them yet.
Oh, come on, buddy. You spent more than you made last month, the household. We have that going through all of this.
I don't even see how that's possible.
Because debt. Because spending. $650 going out to eat alone.
And see, having it broken down like this, I think helps with the desire to
Of
change.
course this is helpful, but you didn't give any indication. You could have used the budgeting app where everything's automated. You could have done that. And you would have seen all this information. Your little tracking, you said you know where all your bills are. You would have known this. Okay?
And see, I have the bills alone, not the eating out or extra expenses included.
You don't look back on previous months? Then you're never going to make progress. There's no point of only tracking half of it if we don't know what's going on with the other half. That's an inconclusive picture.
And I think part of it too is like my dad, he will help pay for stuff. So then it's like let's go out to eat because dad's going to pay. And then he'll pay for a
what
portion
comes
of it.
in for him?
He gets about $800 a month from disability and then
It's brutal.
little side hustles. and things like that, he can get an additional maybe 700, 600. Just kind of depends on how his health is.
I don't know, man. I get it. And I get it looks good. I get it looks good when you say it, and it makes you want to say it, and it looks good to the audience when you say it, and it helps you fucking defer the actual pushback against you. But literally, if I literally hear every single person on the show say, I'm ready to change, I'm ready for change, yet they did not do a single cent, like actual cent of change the moment before coming on. Stop. I know what your spending was.
I know.
I know what your spending was. It was not good.
But I've made small changes. I understand the spending's not good.
And
but
maybe we'll see.
I got baby steps. I got
No,
because
David.
there's more than monthly payments more than minimum payments being made.
We'll see.
That one's my husband's.
Okay, 3 in a row for the man.
Yeah,
Cabela's.
and that's another use anywhere kind of card.
$1,786.24 with a minimum payment of $65. Okay. Yeah, I mean, most cards are used anywhere cards. That doesn't mean we get to the credit limit again. Interest accruing. By the way, this also shows the indication of lack of change. They're all maxed out. Some are over maxed out. Meaning you really can't spend on them anymore. Meaning that even if you wanted to, you couldn't. So listen, you probably did a few months ago and now you can't. So this is another recurring thing. Remember, I do this like 5 times a week. If you could have spent on these cards, you would have. This only looks good in these part of the statements because you're at your max. It's incapable to spend any cards. Yet you still spent more than you made, which is crazy. 12 years to pay off for this one. 31.24% interest rate on all this. So what are we doing with this card? What happened? Because they're all maxed out, meaning we did at least recently spend on these cards. And no, they're not all for the moving expenses at this point, because he said it was $6,500, yet we drained our emergency fund, only needed a few thousand, but our credit cards so far that we've talked about are at nearing $20,000. So no, this wasn't all moving. What?
Well, the Home Depot ones are for renovations. Lowe's ones renovations.
What about Cabela's?
That one, part of that was moving expenses. And then once we got into the house, that was also, we remodeled one of the bathrooms that didn't get covered by the Home Depot costs, and buying the tools and equipment to do the renovations. And then some of it was also
renovations.
groceries.
Did you need to do every renovation you did? You said you renovated the kitchen in your current place, right?
No, my old house.
What did you renovate in the current place? Because you said you did renovations.
Bathrooms. We've done the popcorn
ceilings. Why would we
ceilings.
focus on popcorn ceilings and not a broken sink?
So the sink wasn't originally broken.
Okay, this shouldn't be a horribly hard fix.
I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with it.
Get a plumber.
So I had my uncle out, who is a retired plumber.
The family thing gets weird because, like, I don't know. It always gets weird when you ask family for help on those kind of things, because they might not put in full effort, or even if they don't, or even if they do, maybe they're not as educated as the real person you want to come in, and whatever. You can't push back against them. You can't really push for what you want. It just gets really hard. You just want someone who's only there to provide the value they do, and there's not a family dynamic when it comes to this kind of stuff.
So we do plan on getting a plumber to come out.
Why haven't you? Just like you planned on fixing all this, but haven't. Come on, water's leaking everywhere. Huh?
Part of it's been, I've been worried about getting in more debt, having to take out a loan to pay for this.
Girl, you're about to double your mortgage.
I was talking with my neighbor. She had a plumbing issue too, and they had to pay $2,000 for the plumbers to redo her piping.
Get it diagnosed first. You don't know what it is. I don't care what her plumbing issue was.
And we also don't have a clean out, which is really weird. So I had the city come out and see if they can locate a clean out.
Literally just get it diagnosed. I don't give a You don't know what's on the other side.
Every time I tell the plumbers, I've called, almost every plumber in my area and asked, like, hey, like, can you guys come take a look? Like, this is what's going on. It's been snaked. Not sure. It's $100 an hour plus $180 an hour for the camera, because if you don't have a clean out, we're going to have to use the camera to figure out where we're going in the pipes. I said, okay, about how many hours, like, could you estimate? And they're like, anywhere from 4 to 6 starting.
Okay. Another Home Depot card. This one's yours, yeah?
Yeah. And again, renovations.
$999.98. Renovations, critical things in order to survive. Purchases, $43 on this one. Your card.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, why are we purchasing on your card? The one who's good with finances.
Because my husband maxed
minimum
out
monthly
his.
payment. What'd you get? It was seasonal garden section.
I don't even know.
Huh. Yeah. Guys, we're ready to change. 30%
Seasonal garden.
Yeah, let's get you back in therapy because you might need it. Listen, I'll give you 3 free therapy sessions with Sandra Mine. It's the promotion that our audience gets and I get and you get, so do that. And I'm going to give the course career certification to your husband because we need to make him more money too.
He's looking at other jobs currently.
Well, I heard he wants to start his own shop, which requires upfront capital, so. Okay, America's Tire. Let me guess, is for tires?
Yep.
You ever get a genius video idea while showering or stuck in traffic, but by the time you sit down to make it, you realize you'd need a film crew, an editor, and probably a 4-year degree in animation? Cause, yeah, I've been there. And that's why today's sponsor, InVideo AI, exists. It's like ChatGPT, but a Hollywood production team instead. Yeah, type in the idea, literally just a sentence, and it turns into a full-length video in just minutes. So let's try this. Create a 1-minute video in hyper-realistic style about what would happen to humanity if the internet ceased to exist.
Imagine a world where the internet suddenly vanishes. No warning, no explanation, it's just gone. The first thing you'd notice? A deafening silence. Your phone stops buzzing, your computer screen goes dark.
Unlike traditional tools with steep learning curves that only solve for parts of the process, InVideo is the creative partner you've always wanted. It removes all friction, no timelines, no layers, just type commands like add my voice or make it more intense. It even lets you clone your voice for narration. InVideo does all the heavy lifting so you can focus on what really matters, your vision. You can try InVideo AI for free using the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. It'll save you hundreds of dollars that you'd otherwise be spending on editing, animating, and other production costs. Let's get back to the video.
I had 2 slashes in my tires and couldn't
You're slashing your tires.
I honestly don't know. We don't know that many people here. I'm not sure if it's
Okay,
something that happened on the road.
$900, $45 minimum payment. The minimum was it went off a little because of a credit. Okay. Expiration date of this promotion is in October, so that'll come out pretty soon. Best Buy, what's up?
That's a use anywhere card. That's a dangerous card.
Pretty much all. Okay.
Yeah, I've used that one to buy Southwest flights for family, and then
The family, what?
so
What are you doing?
my mom's actually coming out in July for my son's birthday. So
Okay.
she didn't have the money right then.
Good.
Said,
She can come out when she can afford it because you can't afford your bills.
all right. So she's like, look, I can
Guys don't
pay you
even
from
get
this
along
paycheck
anyway.
and then I can pay you from the next paycheck.
How's that worked?
Not well.
Shock.
And then my cousin, who I had guardianship of at one point, is actually going
Did you get
into-
insurance on the flights?
No.
Is it early? Is it too? Can you cancel it? Yeah, it's pretty early. Cancel it. She can redeem it if she pays.
I don't know if I can.
Try, call, have a conversation. Maybe you can't, maybe you can, but it's pretty far ahead. Listen,
She's paid part of it.
how much? Of how
200.
much? Of how much?
300.
Okay, never mind. We can keep
Yeah.
it. Push her for the rest.
Yeah.
Also, there's a Walmart on here as well.
That was groceries.
Okay, so we grocery shop and go out to get a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And Ross.
That was birthday presents.
I don't care.
For
We
a
don't do
little kid.
birthdays. We don't do birthdays.
How do you know?
For the kid?
For my son's friend. He got kicked by a horse and got life flighted out, and then it was his birthday.
Huh?
My son, he made a friend, and the little boy got kicked by a horse and got life flighted out, and then shortly after was his
Life
birthday.
flooded out?
Yeah. Like the helicopter landed on their property
Oh.
and flew him to Dallas to the children's hospital.
Was he dead?
No, thankfully no broken bones. He's got they were joking and said that he looked like Quagmire.
How old?
3.
Okay, it doesn't remember things. Core memories start around like 3 or 4. It's barely. You don't need to do
he's
the
4
gifts right now.
So it's
Just
for his 4th
3.
birthday.
Okay. It might just be starting to form core memories. I don't know.
Like my son remembers it. He's scared of
Also,
horses.
put it on for now. Well, it sounds like it just happened. Debit cards. Debit cards is where we put birthday presents, not on credit cards that we can't afford to pay off. Tractor Supply.
Yard equipment. And dog food. I normally order their dog food through Purina's website. And when they don't have it in stock, I would go down to Tractor Supply and oftentimes they would price match for me.
$29 minimum monthly payment at a $297 balance. 33.24% interest. Kill me now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, I know this. Ulta Beauty.
Yeah. So
What's going on?
I really lost myself in motherhood and just
The fuck does that mean? Lost yourself in what way?
like I never did anything for myself. Everything was for everyone else. My son especially. Like when I went to go put makeup on, I realized everything expired in 2020 or 2021.
Okay.
And I was feeling really down about myself, had a little bit of a crying moment.
It doesn't matter, honestly. I don't need the sob story because it's paid off every month.
Yeah. That was my husband's whole thing. Go take care of yourself. We don't have the money right now. You have the Ulta card. Use
Pay
it.
off every month.
Yeah.
Credit Union of Texas, 15% interest rate. Is this a car?
Which one is that?
$7,000 interest. Is this a personal loan?
Yes.
Okay, was this one of the consolidations?
Yes.
When?
So that was actually part of moving expenses.
What's the current balance, you know? You took out a personal loan for moving expenses. It wasn't even a consolidation.
So
okay, so
it was for we did consolidate a couple cards, and then
what's the balance?
I believe it's at 6,800 now.
6,800. 6,800. Good. With a minimum monthly payment of
250.
$250.60.
So
this was for moving. This is not adding up to 6,500 because how much did you have in savings? 50 cents?
We had, so my husband actually got
How much did you have in your emergency fund was the question, please.
We had 1,800.
Okay, then
2,000.
Okay, you set up that whole thing at the beginning when I was like pushed back on you not having an emergency fund. Oh, I had one, but it was drained. No, it wasn't. You had $1,800. That's not an emergency fund. That's like a half a month for you. Come on.
It was the start of emergency. It was something.
It was something.
It was better than zero.
But you set it, of course.
Right?
But you set it up as you had an emergency fund, but I had to drain it for an emergency. No, you didn't. You had like a half a month saved up. Come on. And then, like, this wasn't all for the move if it's at 6,000. You said the entire...
I said part of it was for the move.
And then some of it was for consolidation, but some of the other credit cards were for the move.
Yes.
The math is not adding up here.
I guess I never really looked at the total of the expenses for moving.
Maybe we need to know our numbers if we're ready to change. Which again, believes me, makes me believe you're not. I mean, you don't even look at your spending from the previous month. How are you ready to change if you don't look at your spending?
I just feel like I look at it like on a daily to weekly basis, so I don't really have to look
you need
back.
You need the full image because you can't edit anything for the future if you don't have the full image. Seeing something in a day doesn't hurt because these little things, they don't hurt. It's the death of 1,000 cuts.
I think that's where we're at with everything. And
Well, yes, that is where you're at with everything, and the person ready to change would look at it.
I guess I never looked at it that way. I break it
In
down
what
like
way?
daily and weekly.
I thought you said you watched David.
I do, but I never looked back at like previous statements and stuff. I feel like I pay it and I don't want to think about it again. I just want to keep looking at the future and getting stuff paid off. I don't want to look at what's already been paid. It's paid. I know it's paid. It's done.
Okay. Not necessarily. They're on credit cards, except for the max out ones, because now you can't spend on them. So no, they're not already paid. They're already charged. Okay, what about this personal loan at 7%? I'm guessing. Or is this a car?
That might be a car. I think that's my husband's truck.
I'm being told, wait, hold on. What? I guess there's another personal loan.
Through Unify.
Cucks. I don't think I have. Maybe that's in here. But they're saying you already took a a personal loan for an HVAC system in your current house.
That's what it was supposed to be for.
Where is it? What? Which one?
The personal loan was supposed to be
Which
for the
personal
HVAC.
loan?
I
The one
believe
we just talked about? What is it for? Is it for consolidation? Is it for moving? Is it for the HVAC? I am
Sorry,
so confused.
I have 2 personal loans and a debt consolidation loan. Sorry. So I've had consolidation loans, I've had moving loans, and I had one that was supposed to be for the
This
HVAC.
one's at 15%. It has a current balance of $5,896. So what did this go to in 24 cents with a minimum monthly payment of $250 and $60? No, I'm confused. This is a mess. What is going on? What is this HVAC loan you're talking about?
So we took out the HVAC loan.
What is it? Where is it? So the last one you said was moving. No, wait, it was consolidation. Wait, no. Okay, is it the one that's at 4,000?
It was the last one that we talked
Okay, which one is at $4,288.44 with a 16.74% APR?
I think that's the Unify loan.
And what did that cover?
That was when we were still in California.
For what?
Gosh, I don't even
Oh
remember.
my goodness, dude.
That one's
What a
like
mess.
years and years and years old. Like,
And you still have it?
so we ended
What
up,
was it for? You don't remember what a loan is for?
I want to say it was a consolidation loan to begin with, and then we took out, we're talking about taking out another personal loan for $1,500 to try to fix the transmission in my car at the time.
So cross out that last one. Add $4,288.44 is the new loan with a minimum monthly payment of I don't know. What's the minimum monthly payment on this one?
So the Unify one's $250, Credit Union of Texas is $251.
So $250. Okay, so $250 on that. This is lasting forever. What about this HVAC loan? What was that?
So my husband's coworker's brother does HVAC.
We no longer do that. Don't use these personal little connections. Don't use these things. Go get a professional whose only job is to deliver the value that they are being paid for.
We've
It makes
definitely
it
learned
so
our
much
lesson
easier.
because after
Well,
we
for the
got the
sake of
loan
everyone out there.
we never got the amount that they actually needed to do this and never had the follow through. So it got used elsewhere. Renovations and car down payments.
Car down payments? Personal loans for car down payments. Oh,
Well, and
Dude,
then I
this
used
whole-
some of the money.
And then you've been in and out of this cycle endlessly. And again, you think, I hope you change. I really do. But again, there's not a single cent of change. And you keep promising it's coming, and I'm not seeing it.
I feel like
and women
it's-
always promise that they're coming, and then they never do. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just, that's a repeated pattern if there ever has been.
and it's generational. And I want to break
For
this
every woman?
for my son.
Oh.
That's
not in that context.
That's the big, like, push behind wanting to change.
Yeah, but you had your kid, you were given birth. No, you had already given birth the last time you took out a consolidation.
I know.
So again, what is actually different? He hasn't been reborn.
The whole idea was debt consolidation loan, pay off the credit cards, get debt free.
That's not different. That's not free. Taking
Well,
a consolidation is
not
debt free.
okay, not
You've listened
debt-free.
to David.
I know, okay, not debt free, paying off the cards and getting rid of them. And then it freaked me out when I had a card close on me for not using it. So then I was like, oh, I have to use these so they don't close my account and take my credit score. And then they also messed up my credit history when that card closed. So then when we were trying to buy a house, we weren't able to.
Buddy, good luck, man. The 7% of this finance was, what did you finance? $28,194.
That's my husband's truck.
What's the current balance?
26. We do a split payments on it. We do $250 twice a month.
Oh, $500 payment on a monthly basis. Death. I don't know how you guys
I think
afford-
it's actually
And you want to
$480.
double your mortgage? Good luck. Okay, we'll do $480.
But we
You
do
want to double your mortgage? Okay.
we do pay $500
Okay,
on a
what's it
month,
worth?
though.
What do you think? Yo, 26. What do you think it's worth?
Maybe 25.
Okay, it's worth $16,425.
That's disgusting.
What are you doing? And you guys wanted to go get new cars, even though you couldn't. I know, not brand new cars. They're still new cars to you. You wanted to go get new used cars that you couldn't afford, guys. So he could haul around a little dinghy little fucking dinghy. Guys, he has to make 4 trips from California. You better get a $30,000 truck. That's not worth a single.
Well, we had to have something to tow the trailers.
Temporarily. Okay, how much comes in from these trailers?
Well, the trailer is down right now.
Oh, for f***'s sake. Yeah, we're really changing our behavior. Come on, look where your mindset is on everything.
It was making us a good amount of money.
What's a good amount of money?
Like an extra $2,000 a month on.
Okay,
like,
$2,000 net or gross?
Gross.
Because what were you doing? Exactly. So what was it?
It was
net?
side jobs.
What was it net?
$2,000. It was just.
You just said a gross.
It was side jobs.
What was the side job?
Hey, can you take a load to the dump? Can you move this car for me?
Dude, I would much rather you guys put in more effort in enhancing our career, getting him into a better career position, instead of this bullshit justifying a $30,000 purchase of something that we cannot afford that has lost half its value since you purchased it or you overvalued purchased. Really, you're trying to justify the fuck out of this truck in every way possible, which means no, behavior will not change. Listen, it's destroyed. It's dumb.
You don't know me well enough to say that the behavior's not going to change.
But I know your finances. And I know what you've done, and I know your history.
Keep looking.
And I know the language you're using here. You keep saying keep looking, but I know one thing for sure. Add it all together, you spent more than you made last month. So I'll keep looking, and it'll still come to the same result. What is the balance of the car that you have? I also just heard you justify this truck like 4 times. So what do you mean? Like, I do know what people like you do. I have these conversations. I do.
My car is $20,000.
Okay, $20,000 for the car. Interest rate better, 5.7. Minimum monthly payment?
$405.
What's it worth?
I could not tell you.
What do you think it's worth?
18.
Basically, right about 19.
Okay.
This one held its value a little better, but it's still. Would you get rid of this car today if I told you to?
I don't have. Like, my husband has to drive to work, and my son has doctor's appointments and
With
stuff, so I have no clue
getting
what else.
another car still, would you be willing to get rid of it? You're going to trade down.
As long as it's something that has the third row.
Why? You have one kid.
Right now.
Even when you have a second kid, you don't need a third row.
Well,
Yet.
we have 5. If we had another kid, that'd be
You're
5
holding
people.
on the cats?
No, my dad. My husband,
strap
my
him to the
son,
top.
my dad.
Just don't have a fucking kid yet. Listen, it's just the reality is, okay, yeah, sure, shop, use third row. Okay, buddy, $20,000 in the car. Listen, yes, you trade down. You borrow $11,000. 1,000 of the 11,000 goes to paying off the car loan. $10,000 car. Maybe not a third row. You don't 100% need it yet. We upgrade when you need it. Listen, you can't afford these minimum monthly payments. And if you're not willing to change that, you're not willing to change anything. Because it's a fucking piece of metal. We don't need sentimental value to it.
No, it's not sentimental.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, mortgage, this is fine. The interest rate's at 6.1. That's actually better than I thought it was going to be for your guys' credit. $141,882 owed. What was the purchase one more time price?
$144.
Oh, you have to minimum sell 175, and good luck. It's not looking good, I'll be honest. Minimum monthly payment with all this included is $1,270.83. Yep, that's fine. That's not bad. The fuck is this? What is a $53,639 loan? Oh, I thought those are other loans combined. Okay. Oh,
Like, I
almost literally died. The amount of death that almost has happened across from you. But
Please
there
don't do
is $957 in our. Oh no, actually, yeah. Oh no, that's combined accounts, so it's not even like crazy. Okay, it's an Apple bill. Wait, you said keep looking. We've gone through the debt. What was I expected to find?
like,
Yeah. Oh, I looked and I kept going. Apple bill, Amazon Prime, stopping in some, selling out money, Apple bill. No, all right, here we go.
and the Zell's just back and forth between my
Apple bill,
accounts.
Dutch Bros, Cracker Barrel. Nyax Vending, Panda Express, DoorDash Jack in the Box, $51 there. Amazon Kids Plus, Food Fast, CEFCO?
Sefco, the gas station.
Yeah, but you went in and got something.
That'd be my husband going to work.
Burgerland, tell him to f off and stop stopping and be a big boy. School Bros Barbecue, That Place Downtown, Paris House Asian Restaurant, Zelling Out Money, Burger King, Five Below, going in and getting some bull Mexican restaurant, School Bros Barbecue, Best Mart, man, TJ Maxx, Panda Express, Five Below, The Mighty Crab, Cash App. I kept looking, and it only got worse. Personal loan. Oh, here's that personal loan we talked about. There's some fees, transaction fees, personal fees.
I think that's the interest that they put off to
They
the
just
side.
call it fees? No, this is interest. Interest was 72. See, total fees is 1135. Might just be not having enough money in your checking or savings. $44 in this.
I used it to pay off my son's medical bills.
Yeah, that's our house savings. And then $900. No.
That's my 401k.
Hold on. But you took out a 401k loan against it?
I did.
I kept looking. I was promised something. What the f were you talking about? This is the last piece of paper, by the way. What the f? Why? When? The 401k balance is great, but it's so scary. It's so scary. If you lose your job with them, they can call a 401k loan and you can get it owed like that. You'd have to pay it all at once, like a call date in like 30 days.
I owe like $800 left on it.
Oh, well, when did you take it out? What was the total balance at one point?
I think it was
That's so sketchy. You never take out 40. Oh, if that was called, man, you would have been fucked.
And that was years ago.
For
We're
what?
finally looking at the end of it.
You only know how to take out debt. Because you've never actually paid off debt. You've only taken out debt to cover debt. If you kick the can down the road, we're still looking at debt from years and years and years ago. Dude, you're 27. It's not a repeated cycle. You actually just move debt everywhere and then build it back up even further. You just built it up worse. That's why you have $80,000 in bad debt and you're going to double your mortgage. Don't. You want to get that house? No, don't. It's as easy as that. I solved that. I solved that equation for you. I solved the damn equation. The equation is no. Okay, not including the mortgage. Your minimum monthly payments alone are $2,081. So he's working just to cover your minimum monthly payments, not including mortgage. And then mortgage we know is $1,270.83. Utilities altogether, internet, everything, electricity, trash, blah blah blah. How much?
Internet's 86.
Okay, 86 for internet.
Water is usually about 100 around there.
100. Gas, electric.
Gas is like $40.
Okay.
And electric depends on the time of the month.
Average.
I'd say average 150.
Okay, 290 for that, and then 86 for internet. Gas from drive, both of you combined.
He spends about $60 filling up his truck once a week. I spend about 40.
Once a week?
Once like a week and a half.
Okay, I'll put it at 360. Car insurances?
So I have full coverage on my car, full coverage on his truck, and it's $240.
Okay, phone bill?
So the phone bill is $420.
Oh, wow!
But it's not. So I have more people on the line to make the
Do
phone
they
bill cheap.
always pay?
Yes.
How much
Always.
is yours?
So
The household, you guys.
So 420 minus 150.
What the
no. 65. 200 minus 200.
That's still fucking ridiculous. 220? Switch to helium. Do you own your phones outright or are they financed?
Some of them are financed.
Oh, once you're done with financing, switch to helium. If T-Mobile's good in your area, switch to helium. We have to put 220 for now until you do that. Damn it. Okay, groceries, we should be able to do 800. That's being generous. Use a budget-friendly cookbook. You're going to meal prep, so you only cook a few times a week. Then you can no longer use the cooking excuse. TP fund. Anything else you need to survive goes for kids as well. $250. Medical health care. Copays, anything on a monthly basis?
Copays, I think, are $100 right now because the deductible.
Okay. What else?
Each visit.
Anything else?
It's $100.
Well, how many visits a month?
So I'm being seen right now twice a month.
So $200 a month? Okay, $200. Anything else medical?
I think that's about it right now.
Pet insurances?
I just canceled
Are
those.
you going to sign back up? The chronic health.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Pet food?
I just switched them to a different pet food to
much
save
a
some
month?
money. $120.
Anything else? That needs to be in your budget that I have not taken into account.
I think that covers everything.
These are the necessities. Okay, needed to survive is $5,923.83 at a minimum monthly basis. Your guys' income together, not including your bonus because it only hits 1 year. Okay, we have a little bit of wiggle room, which makes no sense why none of this debt is being paid off. Guys, all I have to do is just keep waiting and you'll see. Okay, $5,923.83. That gives you an extra $546.39. Let's call wiggle room $46.39. Say you have $500 left on a monthly basis. $500 left on a monthly basis. $80,000 of bad debt. 160 months. 13 years. Pretty brutal. Okay, a couple options. We definitely need to get him into a better career field. We're definitely not opening a shop yet because you guys do not have the capital, nor are we doing a loan to do it. Maybe Grandpa pays rent?
Not right now.
Okay, Grandpa can start paying a little bit of rent. Even a couple $100 helps.
He'll help out with groceries here and there.
Okay, well, that helps as well.
Yeah.
But you're still only allowed to contribute this amount and deduct whatever his does. Because a couple extra $100, and that moves us, what was it, 12 years? $80,000. Divide that by $700 instead. And that brings us to 9.5 years, right? So just that from Grandpa helps a lot. So, okay. Well, we need to up, if he can bring in, if we do that, plus an extra $500 a month net from the husband, with that gets us maybe down to 7 years, and that's okay. And then we can do that. We can grind that out, and then you will get pay increases, hopefully more than your guaranteed 3%, because that's just cost of living. We actually want real raises and career advancements. But either way, if you cannot finish this in 8 years, I can also consider bankruptcy potentially. Well, that's gonna, it makes it really hard to do things in the future. It gets off your credit, but there will always be questions whether or not you've declared bankruptcy. And that's what I do. But you guys can pay off this debt. We can pay it off in about 7 years. He needs to up that income, okay? And you can no money going out to eat. There's nothing. It's nothing. No trips. Nothing fun. No paying for other people's. Nothing. It is sticking down to the grind, and it's a sacrifice for the kid. Because by the time the kid's 10, gonna have an incredible life, and he's gonna know nothing but success and stress-free financially.
And that's my goal for him.
And if that's your goal, then this is your path to get there, and there will be no excuses to do so. So make sure you come back.
And then would you recommend like bonuses when I get those once a month?
Yeah, throw it right to debt.
Okay.
Once a month. You said once a year.
Or sorry, yeah, once a year.
Yeah,
I don't get them once a month.
That
I wish.
accelerates the process as well. Maybe we get this down to 6 years, okay?
Okay.
And 6 years is very attainable. Then a fully 6-month emergency fund is what you do. Show us progress on the follow-up channel along the way. Spending your budget, you overspent 0 out of 10. Debt, this debt's brutal. This is so many cards. Yeah, $80,000 of bad debt. Mortgage, there's no collections or anything, so I'll give you a 1 out of 10. Emergency fund, nothing right now, 0 out of 10. Retirement, what was it, 50?
I think it's 20 right
20,000? Okay, 20,000.
And I don't have my husband's.
75.
He's also got a 401k. He just started it.
Okay, so probably not much.
Yeah, I'd like maybe $5,000.
If you combine your both, I'm putting you at a 3 out of 10. Real estate, not really an equity position. Rough living. Bad things with the house. Repairs that are going to need to be put into it. It's not great.
Yeah.
Fine interest rate. Minimum payment you can afford, I'll give you a 5 out of 10 because you're at least in a position where if you hold on to it and put a little bit of money into it, you actually might make some money in a couple of years. It's that step ahead versus having to get into the games from scratch. Rounded up here financial score, 2 out of 10, 1 point higher than you thought. Guys, join us for the post show. We might call the husband. We have some extra juicy information that we can't talk about in the main show for privacy and demonetization reasons. So come join us and make sure you join Hammer Elite because if you do, best YouTube membership on the entire platform. Platform has told us that themselves, and there's thousands of hours of extra content and other dedicated shows we have there. It is incredible. And make sure you download the Simpler Budget app, sign up for annual. I will sign the cookbook and mail it directly to you. See you in the post show. A couch buying addiction. What the f does that even mean?
I haven't. I have just been browsing and looking at couches.
But she wants another one.
I do want another one.
Hey, by the way, you haven't even paid off your last furniture bill? You're not gonna go on a couch shopping spree.
Just wait.
Exclusive members content. Click the link in the description or pinned comment below and watch thousands of hours of extra and uncensored content.